fighter jets on display and an Alaska 2025 banner marking that occasion. As you can see, following closely behind, Putin walking out as well. The two leaders are set for a tightly watched sit-down. One Trump says could bring the slaughter of Ukraine to a close. Putin is looking for a deal that cements Russia's battlefield gains and keeps Ukraine out of NATO and pulls Kyiv closer to Moscow. Now, notably absent from the talks in just a couple moments, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and European leaders raising concerns that the U.S. could make a deal without Ukraine's approval. Now, this meeting carries very big risks. By hosting Putin on U.S. soil for the first time since the invasion, Trump is giving him international validation. Trump says that there is a 25% chance that the talks fail, but if they succeed, he might invite Zelensky for a three-way meeting in Alaska. Now, talks will start one-on-one with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others joining later before a joint press conference. Observers say the outcome could send shockwaves through diplomacy, NATO strategy, and the battlefield in Ukraine. Once again, we are watching live Trump just stepping off of Air Force One as he is preparing to take talks. And as you see right here, greeting Russian President Vladimir Putin. Again, those talks are going to be reshaping possibly the course of the war in Ukraine. Trump hoping for a good outcome from this meeting. If things go well, again, he said that he would invite President Volodymyr Zelensky to join in again on that. The summit, again, once their first time Trump's return to the presidency, comes with enormous stakes as we're watching both of them walk towards other officials. Trump's pitch is that he can end the war quickly. But Putin's goal here is to lock in Russia's territorial gains and stop Ukraine from joining NATO and bring Kyiv back into Moscow's sphere of influence. Some of the things that critics are saying, though, here in a glaring omission is that Ukraine itself, once again, not at the table here, violating the West's principle of nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. As you can see them both here chatting to each other, walking towards officials. So this has sparked fears that Trump might strike a deal that Kyiv does reject as they are posing here for photos. Other officials behind them, Air Force One clearly behind them as well. The risk high during this meeting, hosting Putin in the U.S., especially in Alaska. This is a state once owned, interestingly enough, by Russia. It grants him legitimacy after years of isolation over this invasion. But a handshake, and we'll see what happens here. Trump acknowledges the chance of failure is about 25%, but he says if the talks do go well, Zelensky could join a follow-up summit here as well. The meeting starts as a three-on-three with Secretary of State Marco Rubio again and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff on the U.S. side, followed by a larger delegation and the talks and a lunch preceded by this. As they're entering a car here off to their meeting, NATO's top commander in Europe is also on site to advise Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. On the table, Russian demands that Ukraine give up territory. U.S. Secretary guarantees for Ukraine short of NATO membership and the possibility of a comprehensive peace deal. While some question Alaska as a venue, analysts say that this does signal distance from Europe, and this could also offer Cold War symbolism as a meeting point here. This is just 3 miles from Russia, interestingly enough, at its closest point. So the base has long played a role in intercepting Russian aircraft entering U.S. airspace, a significant meeting place